Hi all, welcome to week 4. Hopefully your term so far is going well. Very hard to believe we're almost halfway through the first 8 weeks. I thought summer flew by and the fall term is flying by equally as quickly. So I just want to talk a little bit about last week, this week, and then jump into the quiz questions. So last week, let me flip over to the week 3 classroom. Last week we talked about marketing. We talked about the role of a patient as a consumer and then kind of the intersection of those two things, kind of focusing on, we looked at some marketing materials and marketing schemes in the week 3 discussion area, and then also kind of looked at that patient-centered care environment in the paper for this week. So grades will be coming out for those throughout the week here. So hopefully you got a good overview. If you are in the HSA major, which I know a lot of you are, you'll get more on marketing in the concepts class, but then you'll get an entire class on marketing as well. So it's an important aspect of our business. And something that has grown exponentially since I've been in this, in this business, in the industry. So it's important to be aware of. The other thing that's interesting about marketing, and I think this is, pertinent to where we're at right now in our program, is a lot of the marketing public relations folks in healthcare organizations come from external businesses, external organizations. So they don't necessarily have folks that work in marketing and PR. Don't necessarily have a background in healthcare. They have knowledge of marketing and PR. I think a lot of that comes from the fact that we didn't do a lot of marketing in this industry until the recent past. So getting more folks involved in marketing and PR that actually have healthcare knowledge, I think will only help to improve some of the problems that we currently have with direct-to-consumer marketing, direct-to-consumer advertising. So think about that. If marketing is something that you're interested in, you might want to think about adding some additional classes on marketing as your electives, or perhaps even pick up a minor in marketing if you have a real interest in it. I'm not sure if RMU offers an online minor in marketing. They might, but if anything, you should be able to take some marketing classes online if you are an online student. So just some interesting thoughts about marketing. I'd like to see a shift of more people with a lot of healthcare knowledge getting into marketing. I think it would help the industry overall. So this week, week 4, we're going to talk about IT, and you will be inundated with IT information throughout your time. If you're taking all 4 years of the HSA program, you'll get lots of knowledge about IT. You'll take a couple of classes from the computer school here at RMU, but then you'll also take a couple of classes from us about IT and its importance in the industry. And it's really revolutionary how IT has changed our industry. I'm going to say probably in the last 20 years. I remember when I came to work in healthcare full-time back in the early 90s. I worked for a third-party administrator, which is like an insurance company, and we actually still hand wrote some checks and hand adjudicated claims. I processed medical claims for a living, so we did all that by hand. Looking at papers, we typed into the computer and all, but a lot of our checks were cut and written by hand. So it's really that, it's been a revolution in information technology, both from a electronic health record standpoint, but also systems, patient financial systems, payer systems, and then the concepts of precision medicine and big data, which we have a class about as well. We're going to talk a little big data during this week as well. So information technology, crucial to our industry, and we're going to, kind of the latest and greatest in information technology is how it can drive precision medicine, meaning crunching data, your own personal data, so genetic testing results, your social determinants of health, etc., and creating the best response to various healthcare settings. So we have a precision medicine discussion from, I think this is from Penn, yeah, it is Penn, in Philadelphia, but then we also have some discussion about some of the problems related to precision medicine. So interesting discussion there. Our literal discussion this week is about that topic. So looking at big data, do you have concerns about artificial intelligence, precision medicine, big data? Are you excited, etc.? So we'll talk about that in the Flipgrid. We also have an infographic that we're going to make this week, and these are a few sites that you can use to make the infographic. Keep in mind that an infographic is really about, make this go away, there we go. An infographic is really about taking some information that you want to share and sharing it in a pictorial representation. So if you go out to any of these 3 sites or even others that you can create infographics at, it'll show you kind of what we're looking for. And so make sure that you're not just throwing pictures on a page and putting words. You need to have somewhat of a pictorial representation. It could be just the way you shape the word structures. Actually, I'll just click out to one and you can see what an infographic is. This might be helpful. All 3 of these sites are free. They have free accounts. Just the way that you actually share the information with me could vary based on the account. So let me just log in here quickly. And then you'll be able to see what kind of what Easly can do for you, and the other ones can really kind of do the same. So I think this is just a kind of a template that I have here. Hopefully it'll load. Yeah. So this is just kind of a template. That's not really a good one. I'm going to go to an actual template. We'll take a look at this one because that one is more what I don't want you to do. This one is a good representation of what I do want you to do. So make sure you have your information that you're sharing and you share it in some pictorial form. So like in this case, how do people stay connected to the internet? About 80% Facebook, 100% LinkedIn, etc. And they have like these little people to kind of represent those things. I'm not asking you necessarily to do that because you're probably not going to be sharing statistics, but you want to have some pictures that actually detail what it is that you're sharing with us, as opposed to, oops, get out of this one. Whereas, in this case, we have a picture of clouds. It's not, I guess, this particular, it was about sharing to the cloud, but you really want to make sure that your stats and your information and your infographic are congruent. And there's a lot of great examples on these sites. So what's important about these is that these are free. You don't have to pay for any of these sites. Some of them will allow you to download a file, but I'm pretty sure at least 2 of them, I know Venngage and I think perhaps Easly or Piktochart, will not allow you to download your file. What you'll need to do is share it to their community and then share the link with me and Blackboard. So that's fine. I definitely don't want you to have to pay for any of these resources. Just use the free options, but you can either download a low quality file, which is fine, I don't need a high quality file, or you can share it to their community and then share that link with me so I can see it. So if you have questions about how to do it, please get to that sooner rather than later. You don't want to be doing that on Sunday afternoon when I'm unavailable. I'll be traveling this Sunday, so make sure that you get to that sooner rather than later. We were going to have a kind of a midterm check-in this week via Blackboard, but I'm going to put that off until next week. We'll get through this last week of the midterm, and then we'll have a check-in next week. I'll post a couple of times. So let's talk about the quiz. We had a few questions that came up that a few folks got wrong last week, so I will talk about those briefly. So the first question was, marketing in healthcare has lagged other industries because, and there's several answers that were given. The one that was correct was actually kind of a combination of several of the other ones that were there. So always keep in mind when you're answering a multiple choice questions, you're looking for the best answer of the ones given. You don't want to just mark off the first one that you think might be right. Make sure that you're actually answering the best one of those given. So the correct answer was, some physicians believe that it is inappropriate or potentially unethical. Consumers have imperfect knowledge about costs of services. And the characteristics of all buyers and sellers are not the same. So, so those were actually some of the ones that were listed above, but combined as a single spot. So, so that was our answer there, and that is the case. I mean, there are a multitude of reasons that marketing has lagged in the healthcare setting, and we're still dealing with issues related to marketing in healthcare, but you know, we're improving on that and kind of taking the knowledge of the professionals to a higher level, I think will improve it as well. Next question, direct-to-consumer advertising. And again, there's several answers here. Defined as marketing directly to the end user. May adversely impact the physician-patient relationship. Is question regarding whether it induces inappropriate resource utilization, and receives scrutiny as to whether it changes prescribing behaviors. And then the last answer was all of these are correct. And that, in fact, is the correct answer. All of those options are correct. It does potentially change prescribing behavior. There is potentially some impact to the physician-patient relationship. It is obviously direct to the consumer, and it sometimes does create a higher level of resource utilization than is really appropriate. So, so all of those were correct in that case. Next one, for healthcare marketing to be socially responsible, and again, there's several answers. The correct answer was, again, a combination of a few of the answers. So it must not induce demand for unnecessary procedures. It must be developed to promote individual well-being, and must not target advertising vulnerable populations. The one that was just not correct on here was that it must not cost money. Socially responsible advertising does cost money sometimes. Sometimes you have some great PR and your organization is doing good things, but it may cost money at some point. But again, it was a combination. All of them were not correct, but a combination of a few of those answers were correct. So that was the case there. So that's all I have. I will, I'll see everybody in the discussion boards this week, or in the Flipgrid this week. And please make sure that you take a look at these infographic systems. If you have questions on how to manage them, please let me know sooner rather than later. Okay, thanks so much.